Chapter 5. Seminole Wind. 3 days had passed since the cottonmouth bite, but Cole's legs still burned with every step. The venom had done its damage. His calf was swollen and bruised a deep purple, and sharp pain shot up his leg whenever he put weight on it. Mama Rose had cursed him up one side and down the other when he finally made it back to the nest, half dead, but she'd also forced enough of her herbal remedies down his throat to keep the fever at bay. She'd told him he was a fool for even thinking about moving around so soon. Still, he couldn't sit still any longer. Early on the 4th morning, Cole spent nearly 2 hours loading up the small wagon behind his cabin. Sweat rolled down his bare back and chest as he worked under the brutal Florida sun. Into the wagon went a heavy cast-iron Dutch oven, several pounds of smoked gator tail wrapped tight in cloth, 2 prime-cured alligator hides, a brand-new steel skidding knife with a polished bone handle, a pouch of coarse salt, another of fine black gunpowder percussion caps, and a small tin of fine sewing needles with strong waxed thread. Every item had been chosen with care. When the wagon was finally lashed down, he hitched up his mule and headed east, following the narrow trail only a few people knew. The green swamp was in full summer roar around him, cicadas screaming, thunder rumbling in the distance, and thick humidity making every breath feel heavy. It took him nearly 2 hours of slow, painful travel before the trees finally opened up into the small Seminole camp on higher ground. 3 chickees stood on cypress posts, palm-thatched roofs allowing the breeze to flow through. A thin trail of smoke rose from the central fire. Children stopped their play to stare at the white boy and his loaded wagon. Several women looked up from scraping hides, their expressions guarded but curious. Nightwater stepped out from the largest chickee. She wore the same buckskin leggings and fitted tunic, 2 eagle feathers still braided into her long black hair. Her dark eyes narrowed slightly when she saw him limping beside the wagon. "You should still be resting that leg," she said, walking toward him with silent steps. "The venom does not leave the body so quickly. You push too hard, Gator." Cole pulled the canvas tarp back, revealing the carefully packed gifts. Golden sunlight gleamed off the cast-a-horn, Dutch oven, and the polished blade of the skinning knife. "I came to say thank you properly," he told her, voice steady despite the pain. "You didn't have to save me. Most people would have let the swamp take me. This is for you and your people, not payment, just gratitude." Nightwater looked over the wagon in silence. When her eyes landed on the heavy Dutch oven, she went completely still. Her fingers traced the rim with quiet reverence. She picked up the skinning knife next, testing its balance with a quick flick of her wrist. Her gaze moved to the tin of sewing needles and she gave the smallest nod of approval. "This is too much," she said quietly, looking up at him. Cole shook his head. "It's not enough. You've pulled me out of that water and fought the venom with your own hands. A pot and a knife don't come close to squaring that debt." For the first time, a real smile touched Nightwater's lips. It softened her entire face, revealing a warmth that had been hidden behind survival and caution. She looked up at him with those dark, almond-shaped eyes. "Then I accept it, Gator." She turned and motioned toward the central fire. "Come, sit. The least I can do is feed you before you go back. The stew has been cooking since dawn." Cole tied off the mule and limped over to the fire with her, each step sending fresh pain up his leg. As he lowered himself onto a woven palmetto mat, he realized this was the first time he had ever been invited to sit in a Seminole camp. The children watched him with wide, curious eyes. The women continued their work but cast occasional glances his way. The rich smell of simmering venison, wild onions, and herbs filled the air. Nightwater sat beside him and handed him a carved wooden bowl of stew. They ate in comfortable silence for a while before she finally spoke again. "You are not like most white men who come into the swamp," she said quietly. "Most of 'em only come to take." Cole looked at her. "And what do you think I came for?" She studied his face for a long moment. "I think," she said slowly, "you came to say thank you, and maybe to make a friend." Cole gave her a small, tired smile. "Maybe I did."